Immersed in the deep night, Peterson walked along a narrow path in the forest. He was the only one who dared to venture into this abandoned section of the woods at such a late hour. His friends had warned him against this decision, cautioning him about the mysterious disappearances that occurred in this place. But Peterson was convinced that they were just legends and decided to check them out for himself. Gradually, the darkness became increasingly impenetrable, and the sounds of the surrounding forest began to sound more and more strange and frightening. He felt his heart beating faster with each step he took. Suddenly, he heard rustling behind him. He turned around, but saw nothing. "It's just my imagination," Peterson reassured himself and continued on his way. The further he went, the more he felt that something was wrong. The forest around him seemed to come alive, as if it were alive and unfriendly to his presence. Suddenly, he heard an agitated whisper that seemed to come from all sides. "Who's there?" he cried out, but his voice was lost in the infinite darkness. Peterson quickened his pace, trying to escape from this nightmare place. He realized he had fallen into a trap, but couldn't grasp by whom or what. Suddenly, he saw a faint light ahead, which seemed to be his only hope of salvation. His heart beat even faster as he approached the source of light. But when he reached the source of light, his heart froze. Before him was an old abandoned cabin, from which emanated a dim light. Peterson entered the cabin, feeling that this was his last chance for salvation. Inside, he found candles illuminating the room, and a book open on an old table. It seemed as if someone had just left this place. He began to study the book and learned that it was the diary of a strange old man who had been lost in this forest many years ago. Describing his experience, the old man claimed that there was something sinister inhabiting the forest, which never allowed him to leave. Peterson realized that he had become the next victim of this place. As he finished reading, the candlelight suddenly went out, and the room plunged into complete darkness. In this dark void, as if from the depths of hell, came a distorted whisper, piercing his soul with a living flame of fear. "Now ye belong to me." A voice filled with darkness and abyss sounded, as if a creature from the nightmares of the most hellish world. A chilling cold enveloped him, as if his soul was seized by the dark claws of unholy power. In horror, Peterson burst out of the cabin, as if the flames of fear were heating him every second. His heart beat so hard that it seemed ready to burst out of his chest, and his breath was intermittently caught from the suffocating influence of the unknown. The realization that he had not simply gotten lost in the forest, but had fallen into the clutches of something terrible and inexplicable, invaded his mind like poison, plunging him even deeper into the abyss of horror and despair. As he ran through the forest, his footsteps intersected with a mysterious sound that followed him. He didn't know what it was, a ghost, a demon, or something else. The only thing that was clear, he was alone in the darkness. Death awaited him at every step, and his only hope of salvation was to escape from this nightmare before it was too late. When I was a child, I had one terrifying childhood story that remains a mystery to me to this day. It happened in that very house on the corner of the street, which always seemed mysterious and frightening to me. One evening, as darkness fell, my friends and I decided to explore this old house. Mysterious lights penetrated through the glass of its windows, as if beckoning us inside. My heart beat faster as we approached its door, but curiosity outweighed fear. We entered, and immediately immersed ourselves in a gloomy atmosphere. The air was saturated with the scent of age and mystery. Footsteps echoed loudly on the floor, creating sounds that seemed to echo from the deepest depths of the house. As we explored the rooms of this place, I felt like someone was watching us. But when I turned around, there was no one there. It was as if an invisible presence, making the hairs on my body stand on end. And then I noticed a door, hidden in the dark corner of the room. It looked old and forgotten, as if no one had entered it in many years. But something inside me compelled me to approach it and open it. As I stepped inside, into the complete darkness of the basement, I felt that something inexplicable was happening. My heart beat so fast that I could feel it in my ears. And suddenly, I heard a whisper, which made me freeze in place. The whisper was quiet and mysterious, as if calling out to me, but I couldn't determine where exactly it was coming from. My friends were already far away, and I felt alone in this dark basement, with something unknown pulling me deeper. I ran out of that place as fast as I could, but memories of that whisper still lingered in my mind. I could never explain what happened then, but it will always remain a mystery to me. Being alone in the dark, I still feel the fear and anxiety that engulfed me that day.